After splitting with her husband, Sophia, a college professor, moves into an old apartment with her daughter, Helena. She has put no restrictions on her husband being in touch with Helena. So, on the day of the move, Robert calls Sophia from Cancun to ask how things are going on her side. But Helena is in no mood to talk. And before hanging up the phone, Robert does not miss the chance to show off the diamond implant on his tooth. While getting her things from the basement, Sophia notices an abandoned closet draped in plastics and rags. From upstairs, Helena asks if she can have it. Sophia has no idea what Helena has seen in the closet, but since the closet is in good shape, she decides to take it to her new apartment. Meanwhile, Ferry, their new next-door neighbor, has been watching them through a peephole the whole time. But when he sees them bring the closet up, the terror in his eyes become apparent. The next morning, the little girl lets her mother know about her tooth coming loose. While they are on the road, Sophia tells Helena that once the tooth comes out, she should put it under the pillow for the tooth fairy to replace it with a lot of money. As they enter the bridge, the car's GPS starts to malfunction, and when Sophia gets distracted by the display screen, their car almost crashes into a truck. To prevent the collision, Sophia turns the steering wheel to only hit the fence and crash into the water. However, plunging into the water, Sophia catches the sight of a pale little girl sitting in the back seat. After the accident, Sophia wakes up in a hospital bed. Fortunately, both the mother and daughter evade serious injuries. While Helena sees her mother, she tells her that she lost her tooth in the car during the accident and aggressively asks Sophia to get that tooth for her. A few days later, Helena comes running to Sophia and tells her that another one of her teeth is loose. Sophia is just about to have a look at her tooth when Helena's torn mouth gives her a scare. However, the next instant, it's back to normal. Sophia then helps to pull out the loose tooth and they return back home. That night, Helena puts the tooth under her pillow before going to bed. But moments later, she catches Sophia trying to take the tooth. Lifting her pillow, Helena tells Sophia that the tooth fairy was here and has already taken the tooth. The following morning, Helena thanks her mother for the money, as she knows that Sophia is the one who placed the money there. Furthermore, Helena says that the tooth fairy has also given her something, and shows an old coin to her mother. Later that day, as Sophia is hanging the clothes, she notices the scratch marks on the closet door. And around the same time, she gets a phone call from Helena's teacher asking her to drop by. Next, Sophia goes to meet Helena's teacher, Miss Cavendish, who informs her that Helena has been buying loose teeth from her friends with old coins. She shows her a few teeth in a little round box and also a number of old coins. After coming out of the school, Sophia asks Helena where she got the coins from and what she was planning to do with those teeth. But Helena simply responds that the teeth are for the tooth fairy. On top of that, she claims that the tooth fairy is now angry with her teacher and wants her teeth as well. Being concerned about her daughter's unusual behavior, Sophia goes to seek help from the doctor. She tells him that it all started after she lost her first teeth, and now she thinks the tooth fairy lives in her closet. The doctor tells her that Helena's condition might not be as serious as she thinks, but still, he asks for permission to show Helena's drawing to fellow colleagues. Before they part ways, the doctor asks Sophia if Helena or anyone in the family has ever suffered from hallucinations, and Sophia answers no. That night, as Sophia is about to go out, Fairy warns her that she must leave the house before it's too late. And when she questions him why he would say that, Fairy tells her that he may not be able to help her afterward. Sophia does not heed his warning, saying they do not need anybody's help, and walks away. Back home, after the babysitter has fallen asleep, Helena goes back to her room and slowly whispers, "You can come out now," in the open closet. In the meantime, Miss Cavendish finds a swarm of mosquitoes under her blanket shortly after she has gone to bed. And before she knows it, those mosquitoes attack her. The next morning, Helena refuses to go to school, citing that Miss Cavendish is dead. Just then, Sophia receives a phone call that notifies her about Miss Cavendish's death last night. While the mother is in disbelief, Helena reveals that it was done by the fairy in the closet. A few days later, when Sophia and Helena are in the park, the doctor tells Sophia to ask her to visit his colleague, Professor Fabiano. The professor has looked into Helena's drawing and wants to meet with Sophia as soon as possible. As she hangs up the call, Sophia notices Helena shaking her tooth with her hand. She calls Helena's name quite a few times before Helena turns towards her. But when she turns back, it leaves Sophia appalled. Helena is standing still with her bloodied hand covering her mouth. Next, when Helena is out at the beach to clear her mind, she sees a familiar girl playing nearby. But before Sophia could approach the little girl, she runs away. Following her, Sophia arrives at the cemetery, where she sees 4 photos on the gravestone. It mentions that the children were killed by wolves in 1940, and the girl's name is Fiammetta Greco. Later, Sophia meets Professor Fabiano to discuss her daughter's condition. He tells her that children are easily influenced by the suggestion of other people, but what's bugging him is their address. Sophia does not understand what he is trying to say. And at the moment, Fabiano reveals the hidden secret about her apartment. Before the war, the house was a crime scene. One day, an army officer named Battista Greco saw his wife smiling at another man. So, in order to punish her, Battista pulled all of her teeth, one by one, locked her in the closet, and left her to die. As soon as Sophia gets back home, she begins knocking at the neighbor's door. She knocks and calls Fairy's name for a while before the door opens itself. And with her light from the cell phone, she explores the house. As Sophia enters one of the rooms, she sees a bowl containing a few old coins. And then there's a wall covered with news articles. The articles range from the time when Mussolini led the fascist party. It dates back to the victims of the wolves attack, to the recent death of the schoolteacher from anaphylactic shock. But what grabs her attention are the photos of a man, a woman, and a little girl, since these articles are about how the wife was brutally killed after the death of their daughter. Right then, Fairy appears in the scene, and Sophia leaves. She goes back home and immediately blocks the closet by the large piano. That night, Sophia makes Helena sleep in her room, but the banging noise wakes Sophia up. Leaving her daughter there, she goes to check on Helena's room. After confirming that the piano has not been moved, she is just about to close the door when she sees the piano in the hallway blocking her front door. Sophia instinctively goes to wake Helena up. The little girl easily passes through the narrow gap, but Sophia gets stuck. At the same time, the toothless ghost slowly comes out of Helena's room. Sophia yells at Helena to run, but instead of running, the girl extends her hand to give something to the ghost. When Sophia sees that it is that box containing teeth, she grabs it, throws it to the floor, and makes her escape. As she turns back, Sophia sees the ghost trying on those teeth. 18 months have passed since then, and Helena has not spoken a word. She has been receiving the treatment, but there is no sign of improvement. Robert visits Helena in the hospital, intending to take her to Mexico with him. However, how could Sophia let this man, who has cheated on her and has abandoned them, take her child away from her? After Robert leaves, she stays behind, looking out the window. That is when she sees a man standing in the opposite building, which used to be a mental unit. Sophia is called to the doctor's room. The doctor asks why she did not tell him that her mother was schizophrenic and committed suicide in a mental hospital. Sophia tells him that she didn't want to be separated from Helena due to her past. When the doctor asks if she is suffering from any kind of mental illness, the nurse comes with Helena to get Sophia. One day, during her lecture, Greco's family picture appears out of nowhere in her slides. She asks her assistant Marco if anyone has touched her photo files, but he says that it's always been the same. That night, Helena finally speaks after a long time. But her first words are, she is back. She tells Sophia that the tooth fairy is mad at her because those were not her own teeth, and now she wants her teeth back. Then Helena whispers that he has hidden them in a secret place. The next day, after the CT scan, the nurse brings the food to Helena and lets her have it in front of the mirror alone. Helena suddenly sees the ghost girl on the other side. Following the ghost, Helena also looks towards the ceiling, and all of a sudden, teeth start falling down and within no time, cover the floor. Taking shelter under the table, Helena is found faint there. Later, when Sophia arrives, Helena tells her about the girl in the mirror. And as Sophia goes to look in the mirror, she sees the toothless ghost standing beside Helena's bed, looking at her. In this hour of desperation, the only person she can lean on is Robert. She reveals the brutal murder that took place in her old apartment. She further continues that the ghost from the house is following them and making them crazy. And this is just the opportunity that Robert has been looking for. He now has a reason to take Helena with him, citing Sophia's mental health. That very night, while departing from the hospital, Robert sees a little girl. He chases her, but he does not realize that he is being led into Sophia's old apartment building. Soon enough, we see him standing in front of the closet. Robert could not open the closet, but he gets attacked by the swarm of mosquitoes that come out of it. Meanwhile, Sophia is furious at the ghost for not leaving her daughter alone. Right then, the locker distorts and the same figure appears on its door as that of the closet. A while later, Sophia opens the door and finds teeth inside, and one of which has a diamond implant. In the next scene, the room is now sealed and the police are there to investigate. A few days have gone by, and one day, Sophia again sees a man standing by the window of the mental unit building. But this time, she is not the only one to see him, as another patient also keeps on looking at the man. Hence, she confirms that she is not hallucinating. Sophia begins investigating the killer herself and finds out that he has been kept in the same hospital. So, she sneaks into the hospital document storage room and brings back Battista Greco's file. Along with his wife and daughter's pictures, she finds some drawings and writings. Next, Sophia goes into the mental unit building to search for more clues. She enters room number 15 and accidentally discovers the same drawings on the ceiling, which slowly cover in red. She comes back and takes shelter in the prayer room of the hospital. Suddenly, it dawns on her, and she discovers the hidden teeth in one of the decoratives. There, Fairy attacks her and tells her the wolf doesn't eat children. Immediately, Sophia knocks him down with the same decorative piece and rushes to the apartment. Once there, she finds the charred body of toothless Robert inside the closet. Sophia pours all the teeth inside the closet and begs it to leave her daughter alone. As she exits the building, the ghost lady appears at the window. In the following days, Helena's condition improves remarkably, and she is ready to leave the hospital the next day. She gives the doll to the same patient and declares that she is no longer afraid, as the fairy is gone. The next day in the college, Marco informs Sophia that he has transferred the old film for her, but she has no recollection of giving any film to him. Anyway, she puts on the film. It turns out to be the recorded interview with Battista Greco. The tape reveals that the wife was actually a monster who feeds on children. So, in order to stop her, the husband pulled her teeth and locked her in the closet. It was the wife who fed on her own child. And since Fairy witnessed her evils when he was a child, he tried to warn Sophia. When she reaches the hospital, Fairy, in his final breath, tells her that since the monster has her teeth back, she can now eat children. And as Sophia rushes upstairs, she finds the doctor dead. She enters the last room of the hallway and then slowly backs out. And a long shriek resounds. After some time, Sophia is now a patient in the same hospital. She is sitting on the bench, zoning out. Meanwhile, Helena, at the window, looks at her mother with tearful eyes. The patient with Helena's doll sits beside Sophia and waves at her, who has now been trapped in the mental unit. And as the movie comes to an end, we see Helena missing a part of her face. If you enjoyed this movie recap, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to see more of these, subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos.